Hi everyone, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to get into U.S. immigration questions and answers March 17th, 5 p.m. Pacific time for our regular Wednesday 5 p.m. chat about U.S. immigration, going over all the wild and craziness that we have to deal with in this immigration world with you today. I'm an immigration attorney specializing in just U.S. immigration. So we're live on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on TikTok, all over the place, taking your questions. I'm going to go over some updates to have an immigration system. Not much. The Biden administration does some really good stuff. Other than that, not much of a change. But there's border stuff. I'm not going to go into all the stuff that's going on the border. There's a lot of attention to that. But with that, let's get it started. The first thing I want to get into is, importantly, the Form I-944, Declaration of Self-Sufficiency, part of the public charge system that President Trump tried to put in place, is gone. And the USCIS said they're not going to pursue that. Now, public charge is still there. That has never left. That's always been a thing. But what has happened is, like, for example, the Form I-864 is no longer an issue. And so, it's still there, but the I-944 is not an issue. So just be prepared to deal with that kind of stuff as it pops up. Every day is different when you're dealing with immigration. You got to be aware of all the nuances. I had a consultation today with somebody who didn't know about, I-864 being a requirement, the affidavit of support. So you gotta study up at the ebook, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, download the free ebook that goes over it all, and that'll be able to help you. But you just gotta protect yourself, make sure you make the best decision in these cases. Luckily, we don't have to deal with that I-944 at least anymore, which was a horrible form. We'll just have to deal with all the other horrible forms that are on the process. Jabber asks, my brother is Australian citizen. Can he apply for a green card here? Jabber, there's just not enough information to answer that. First of all, to apply for a green card, you have to have some sort of basis to get it. You win the diversity visa lottery, you have a close family member, you have work lined up, you're investing, you have asylum. There's all these different things. So first we have to see if your brother is able to have a reason to get a green card. Let's say he does, you're a U.S. citizen, for example, and you want to apply for your brother. Well, two issues pop up. One is your brother is a case for a U.S. citizen applying for a brother. If you're a U.S. citizen, which I don't know, it takes 15, 20 years maybe, and it depends on what country your brother's born in, not necessarily the passport that they have. So that's one issue, is they can start the process, but you're asking, can he apply here? There's other issues there. One is it takes 15 years for them to be able to apply. They need to stay here in lawful status in some way until then. And secondly, for example, let's say they had waited 15, 20 years and the time has come for them to apply for a green card and they're in the United States. Australians have a thing called the Visa Waiver Program. They could come to the United States without getting a full tourist visa. However, there's a restriction that in most cases, unless they're marrying a U.S. citizen, they're the parents of a U.S. citizen or minor children of a U.S. citizen, they're not able to file for adjustment of status, apply for a green card while they're here, which is what you're asking. So as you see, there's even more levels of complexity that get added to that. But these are why it's hard to answer these kind of questions. I'm just sitting down and talking with you. Daniel asks, hi, I-485 form is expired on 10/31. Can I still send that form even if it expired? If you want to check, the Immigration Department has these forms and they have expiration dates on the forms you submit there. However, they don't always update the forms accordingly. What you need to always do is go to the USCIS.gov website for that specific form and check to see which form they're accepting. So if you go to the I-485 website, the form you're looking for, there's a part where it says editions or something like that, and it'll tell you if they're still accepting the expired version or not. Check that. That's the proper way to do that. Alotabi says, hey man, what if American spouse never filed for taxes? It will be an issue for the I-130 for the green card. It won't be an issue for a marriage green card at the I-130 stage, the petition for alien relative, to show that you're really a couple. But later on for the affidavit of support, it will be a problem because you're supposed to file taxes if you're supposed to file taxes. And then also if you file taxes, you file married, filing jointly. So yeah, it could be a problem later on for the financial step, the affidavit of support step. So you really want to talk to the accountant and fix that up. If you got to pay taxes, you got to pay taxes. And that's the way it goes. Okay, so Reddy asks, can I travel while I'm in adjustment of status? If you want to travel internationally while your adjustment of status case is pending, you have to have advanced parole. If you leave while it's pending and you don't have like an H-1B or L-1 visa already in hand that's valid, then you will have your case denied. You're not supposed to travel without advanced parole. Now you can travel technically internally in the United States. They don't ask about immigration stuff there, but I would prefer not. Just stay still as much as possible. Stanley asks, you did a video about working without authorization that is forgiven if you are married to a U.S. citizen. Is this policy still valid? Yes, under INA 245C, if you're married to a U.S. citizen and adjusting status, getting a green card based on that in the United States, they don't hold unauthorized employment against you. However, if you got that job based on, telling the employer that you're a U.S. citizen, that's not going to fly. It's a false claim of U.S. citizenship. Or maybe you use like some fraudulent, you stole someone else's social security number. Some states, some offices will hassle you on that. But just say, you worked at a restaurant, got paid cash, it was all like that. Typically, based on the statute, it's all discretionary, but that's not an issue that worries me. And I always tell the government, if my adjustment clients are married to U.S. citizens, I always tell the government everything. I wouldn't file a case if it wasn't appropriate. But I tell them, say this person did work without authorization, but they're married to U.S. citizen, they didn't do false claim of citizenship, they didn't do any fraud, and that should be fine in vast majority of cases. John says, I moved to a new state a week ago. Can I apply for naturalization now or have to wait? So yeah, you can't file. So if you want to apply for naturalization, that's the process of getting U.S. citizenship after having a U.S. green card. If you move to a new state, you have to be living in that new state for at least 3 months before you will able to file for naturalization. So now that you moved last week, you're saying you're gonna have to wait another, about 3 months until you can file for U.S. citizenship. So wait that whole time before you do that. And on that high note, I want to thank everybody who joined us today. We'll be back again next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific. And check out the Marriage Immigration Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Download that. It's free. It's the best book out there. I'll tell you that much. Facebook user says, thank you for what you do. God bless you. Thank you as well. All right, everybody. Until next one, be safe. God bless you. Be safe. I'll hope to answer questions all next time. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed this educational video. We have a second channel with much more information as well at JQK Immigration Clips. Please check that out. Also, you'll find our social media site has a lot more videos, images, and information about the U.S. immigration process. Please check those out on the various social media websites.